NC State at Clemson, 12 Eastern, ABC, in Death Valley, mind you. Clemson's a 20.5-point favorite. I'll say this. We got a chance to go out to Clemson last year for the Florida State game. Noon kick, early in the year, and it was one of those games where I wasn't 100% sure what to expect from the atmosphere at Clemson. Because even walking into the stadium, you had the people at Clemson, which were so nice, by the way, saying, hey, come back for a night game. The night game here is crazy. Like, almost it sounded like to me trying to compensate for what the atmosphere was going to be like for Clemson. And then we end up watching the game. We end up, getting to be down there on the field for like the fourth quarter and overtime. And like that place was on fire. So I expect it to be no different with NC State coming to town. Noon kick, doesn't matter. Place will be rocking. Clemson, again, a 20.5-point favorite. For Clemson in this game, I think they are trying to still like reset the opinion of themselves from the Georgia game. So we all saw the Georgia game, and I think a lot of people were very quick to say, oh, well, Dabo's got to use the portal if they want to win games like that. Oh, Dabo and Clemson, have they fallen off? And it's like, y'all, it's Georgia's best team in college football right now. Like, let's all take a beat here. So if they're able to convincingly win a game like this, I think they could reset that public opinion from the college football public, that is, in terms of how we view them. NC State fans, Clemson fans, whoever you're a fan of, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. This prediction is brought to you by our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy, easy to use, fun to play, easy to withdraw what you win. I'll say this too. We've been hot right now. We've been hot. We got to play for you a little bit later in this segment. Redeem code HARDCOUNT at PrizePicks.com. $5 in lineups gets you $50 in promo funds. Okay, so lock in with us. Use that code. Great way to support the show. Now back to the prediction. Now for NC State, it's been a bit of been a rocky start. The Tennessee game obviously leaves a bad taste in your mouth if you're a Wolfpack fan. And you add insult to injury, or injury to insult, I suppose, more in a literal sense. No Grayson McCall in this game. Transfer quarterback from Coastal Carolina is not going to be the guy for you. Instead, it'll be true freshman from the state of Florida, C.J. Bailey, playing quarterback for you. Also is Jeremiah Smith's quarterback, do-it-all wide receiver right now at Ohio State, who's also a freshman. So kind of breaking him in, allowing him to kind of get his footing. It's going to be massive. So we'll keep an eye on this one, keep an eye on that storyline of how they help C.J. Bailey. But to me, the story in this one really is Clemson and their offense. And we've been talking about Clemson's offense for a while now. Y'all, you go back and watch that App State game. It was an offensive clinic from Clemson. I mean, passing out T-shirts and juice boxes afterwards just because of how they, like I said, ran essentially a clinic camp for App State that day. But to me, watching that game back, it wasn't just the points. Like, it scored, I think, over 50 in the first half, which is a record-setting day for Clemson. But to me, it was more so like the way they did it. It was explosive. It was run to pass. It was window dressing. It was vertical shots. It was also Bryant Wesco now and TJ Moore eating greedy. Bryant Wesco had a 76-yarder in that one. Cade Klubnik had a 16 yards per completion kind of afternoon, okay? That's what we've been missing from Clemson. Now, I understand. It wasn't, Georgia on the other side that day, but if they can kind of build off of that, create some momentum, and be that explosive offense, not only will they roll in this game, they're going to be right back in the mix of it for, a college football playoff, not just berth, but bye. They could win the ACC if that's the case. And I think if you're Clemson too, you're watching the NC State-Tennessee tape a little bit, and I think if you're Garrett Riley, man, you are licking your chops. Because what Tennessee did so effectively in that football game, they ran the ball well, had the quarterback run working, and then they also were able to punish them deep. Set up the pass with the run. Something that I'd love to see Garrett Riley do in this game. That defense from NC State now, they have shown they will overcommit. Is that the case in this game? We'll see. Now, it doesn't take, any courage to pick Clemson outright. It's a 20.5-point spread for a reason. But how would NC State go about winning this football game if they were to do it? One, we talk about, what's going on with Clemson and what went wrong for Clemson the next day. But for NC State, I think defensively, what we just said about Clemson, their path to victory, the explosive plays and Cade Klubnik getting comfortable and running and passing, that's fine if you want to run the football. We just have to limit the explosive plays, which is simplistic. I promise you every single defensive coordinator in America is saying that going into every single game week. I get that. But it really, I really would be curious, is Clemson able to play a boring style of football and beat NC State? Because, yeah, NC State, they're not the defense they have been over the course of the last few years under Dave Doeren. But for this game now, Dave Doeren's going to have them dialed in. All right, they will be ready to play for this one. There'll be an extra a couple degrees of temperature for that defense, getting after Cade Klubnik. So also worth noting, they're averaging 2 takeaways a game is NC State. Got to steal one here for your freshman quarterback. Because it might be a little bit of let's get him going, get him some momentum, get him comfortable. It might be some of that. I'm just saying now, if you can get a couple extra possessions, that would, I think, do wonders for momentum, obviously, and would do wonders for giving your offense and your freshman quarterback a chance. And when I was putting the segment together, man, I was thinking like, okay, well, support your freshman quarterback, run the football. That's all true. But like, if you want to walk into Death Valley and beat Clemson, CJ Bailey, I know you're a freshman, brother. We got to connect on some haymakers here, all right? We got to be able to make that Clemson defense pay when they try to overcommit to the run or bring some extra pressure. Because we saw Georgia do that at a high level. Now, Georgia's Georgia, and Carson Beck, I think, is arguably the best quarterback in college football. So I'm not asking you to be Carson Beck, but I do believe that Clemson, they're going to be aggressive. When they are aggressive, can you stand in there, know what you're looking at, and get the ball to your playmakers? Kevin Concepcion is one of the best playmakers in the ACC that I feel like nationally doesn't get enough love. He's averaging 9 yards a catch. You got to get him involved. Got to get him, whether it's speed sweep, the pop pass, whatever you want to do. He has to see the football if you want a chance to beat Clemson. So that's the path for him here. But I think like at the end of the day, this spread is what it is for a reason. The defense is tough. Defense is tough if you're NC State's offense trying to figure out a way against Clemson. They're going to put a lot of pressure on this quarterback, the true freshman. It's going to be a raucous environment. Georgia popped in the second half against Clemson being able to run the football and kind of be able to adapt their game plan. And that's awesome, but no knock on NC State. They're not Georgia. They're not Georgia. So I don't expect them to have that push up front that the Dogs had against Clemson. I think Clemson's able to take care of business. PrizePicks, we love to play PrizePicks around here. There's a play I like in this game. There's a square I like. Antonio Williams, his receiving yard total is set at 46.5. I'm going to take the less there. I'm going to take the less there because I think the offense will be potluck style. It'll be some Bryant Wesco. It'll be some TJ Moore. It'll be Briggins. Like, it's going to be mixing it up a little bit. So give me the less on Antonio Williams and his receiving total, and then go ahead and match that with the Caleb Williams free square and enjoy your winnings. I'm going to go ahead and project that. I think Clemson wins. I think Clemson covers. If Grayson McCall was playing, I might feel differently, but I think Clemson wins and covers in the Valley. And the narrative around Clemson now could be shifting a little bit more towards we might have sold that Clemson stock a little bit too quickly after the Georgia game. Not us, but I think the college football public might be feeling that way just a little bit. The Hard Count is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Game Time, the fast, easy, affordable, efficient way to buy tickets. What I love about Game Time, the view from your seat even before you buy via the Game Time app. You're not going to arrive at the stadium, be fired up for the game. You're ready to watch warm-ups. You sit down in your seat. You're like, gosh, dang, I'm behind the Jumbotron. I'm behind this metal pole that totally just obstructs my entire view of the event that I just paid to get to. So that's the first part that I love about Game Time. The second part is if you find a ticket in the same section and row for less than what you paid for, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So know before you buy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code HARDCOUNT for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create an account, redeem code HARDCOUNT for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.